Joining us now, Tamara Mellon, co-founder of Jimmy Choo and founder of the fashion direct-to-consumer luxury brand which bears her name. Tamara, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You started Tamara Mellon October 2016 or so?
Correct.
Yeah.
I sold Jimmy Choo in 2011 and then left. I had obviously non-compete for a while and then relaunched Tamara Mellon.
Are things different in terms of the gender wage gap in fashion, which I would imagine is an industry that has more women in leadership roles?
No, the surprising thing, it's actually worse. So the UK just asked all companies with over 250 employees to submit their salaries, and it came out that the fashion industry were the worst offenders.
Why do you think that is?
It's, you know, they've had male executives for so long, and the men have tended to promote men, and the women have had just a pay gap for so long. I think it's really a lingering historical kind of bias that's been around.
How do you reset the table? There was just a report, by the way, yesterday that HBO was actually going to look at all of their employees and try to figure out sort of where everybody stands and then try to recalibrate. Does that approach make sense to you?
I think transparency, I mean, looking at the data is really the only way we're going to figure out how to do this. And calling on companies to do internal analysis, I think that's the way forward.
Okay, but here's the hard question, right? Okay, let's say I'm going to hire somebody. We've talked about this on the show before. I'm going to hire somebody, and you know how there's always that uncomfortable conversation with a candidate where somehow if you're the hirer, you're trying to figure out how much the person is currently being paid, right? And then you're trying to figure out in your head, how much more do I have to pay them to attract them, but without paying them too much, right? If they're starting at a low base and they ask for a certain number that's not high enough, is it on you, the employer, to say, you're not asking for enough, or I need to pay you more to match the person you're going to be sitting next to over here?
Well, there should be a fair market analysis. So you shouldn't be paying someone lower just because you can get a woman for that. You know, I think that when women come out of college, unfortunately, it starts there. So your first salary is the most important one because then over a lifetime it will go up incrementally. But unfortunately, also what women tend to do is we have low self-assessment. So when women leave college and they go for their first interview, they ask for less. So they have to learn to have better self-assessment and actually ask for more.
How have you reset the table, so to speak, at your new company?
Well, we're talking about it, which typically brands don't do. So we're doing a whole campaign around the gender gap. We're also giving 20% discount today. We don't normally discount or go on sale, so it's the one day of the year that we actually give 20% off to represent the pay gap. We were hoping this year it would decrease. It didn't. We're still at 20%. Actually, when we looked at the numbers, we figured out I'll be 90 by the time it closes if it continues at this rate. And I want to close it by the time my daughter leaves college, and she's 16.
Switching gears, how is the shoe business these days? I mean, you've opted to go direct to consumer, meaning you can't walk into a department store and find your shoes. You got to order online. Has that been difficult? I mean, I would imagine the margins are great.
It's really how the next generation of brands are going to be built. So, you know, retail is suffering right now. It's in free fall. The future of retail is really the end of wholesale. So this is how the next generation of brands are going to be able to direct to consumer. I don't design collections anymore. We just put up new things every month that are season appropriate.
Do you think long term, though, that all of these direct to consumer brands that have emerged over the past couple of years will end up on the equivalent of what would have been a Macy's or a Bloomingdale's or something like that on Amazon? Meaning, if I don't know if they've already called you asking whether you'd sell.
Yes, they have called.
And what do you tell them?
It's the perception of Amazon is not right for luxury. Yeah, but I have no doubt that they will get there. Jeff is a very smart guy, and I think they will get there.
And how's that going to then change? But part of the issue with Amazon always has been this direct relationship that you're creating with the consumer gets intermediated by them or by anybody else who jumps in the middle, right?
Yes, correct. So we don't have the relationship, but there are other marketplaces that we're on which help spread brand awareness. Right. So hopefully they'll discover you on something like Amazon and then they'll come to your site.
Final question from me, given that we've talking about Facebook all day. I imagine you're using Facebook and Instagram and a lot of these other social media platforms to to get new customers.
That is where we're advertising today. So I don't do any more print advertising. It's all digital. It's all Facebook, Instagram, and we're building the brand off social media.
And do you have any second thoughts about using Facebook as that platform?
Not at the moment. Obviously, it's not good what's happened, but I think we'll continue because we really reach our customers, our target customers looking for luxury products on Facebook.
Tamara, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.